What's up, everyone? Got some lunchtime for you again. Check out this ice here. 15 degrees right now in Madison. It's like 10:30 or something. Ooh, I love it. So I was going to talk a little bit about sports specificity. My lips are frozen. So anyway, today we're going to be talking about 40-yard dashes and other sprints and stuff. For a lot of Americans, the 40-yard dash is very important because it relates to football. But, yeah. So the problem a lot of athletes fall into, it's a trap, really, is that they get too specific with their training. People often, they want to increase their 40-yard dash times. All they do is run 40-yard dashes. That's not what you want to do, obviously. So, basically, my advice for people that have a combine coming up or some kind of test is doing very minimal sprinting, actually. Backtracking. A lot of runners, especially, they go on these long jogs thinking that this will be helping their sprints and stuff. They build some GPP and some conditioning. But hey, to break it to you, it's probably making you slower. Long, slow jogs aren't going to carry you over to football. They're not going to carry you over to tracking. Yes, some added conditioning can help, but there are better ways to go about it, really. So, don't do that. And instead, most of what your focus should be on increasing short sprints like that should be in the gym, really. Assuming you have a decent athletic background already and your technique is already pretty good for sprinting. Oh, here's a seat. I can sit down. So I'm lazy. I don't want to stand up. I think better when I'm sitting. So yeah, assuming you already have good sprinting technique, assuming you have pretty good GPP from being an athlete for several years at least, probably your whole life, hopefully, then again, you shouldn't be sprinting a whole lot, honestly, if you want to increase your sprinting. What most of the work should be done in the gym. God, my mustache is freezing. Most of your training should be in the gym, basically. Certain exercises are going to have more carryover, so you want to be training specifically in the gym, but you don't want to be doing just your sport, basically. Goddamn. So in the gym, things that would really help your 40-yard sprint are kind of what I've been doing recently, is box squats. Probably one of the best things you can do for sprinters. Very wide stance box squats, keeping everything in the hips. Don't band them like I've been doing, it's not necessary. You can band them the normal way on the bar, but anyway, we'll talk about that later. Box squats to a low box, as wide as you can possibly squat with good technique. Regular barbell is fine, you go low bar probably. And then, aside from that, barbell hip thrusts, really good for sprinting, and a lot of single leg stuff, so Bulgarian split squats, lunges, etc. So the way I'd set up training sprinters, which I've trained before, and I've experienced sprinting, that's why I'm giving advice on sprinting, is setting it up pretty much like how Westside trains, conjugate method. Honestly, it's probably one of the best ways to do it. So you'd have these max effort days, teaching your body to push, basically, and then having speed days, teaching your body to move fast, often under band tension or chains. I think bands are preferable, honestly. Chains look cooler, but you get more out of bands. It's a great training tool. If you're using bands, don't be a douche. Just fucking write the name of the band on there. Don't try to estimate how much weight it is at the top, because you're going to be wrong unless you have some fucking fish scale. Don't do that. Anyway, back to my point. So, conjugate method, basically. So you'd have these max effort days and then dynamic effort days. They split them up 4 days a week. It's great. Read Louis Simmons shit. You can Google fucking conjugate method. It's not that complicated. Fucking use your phone. But from there, I'm talking about distracted as a runner. So you're doing these max effort days. There should be a main focus on a big lift, a few variations quite often. So again, a low bar box squat is probably the best way to go. And then from there, you can move the box. So you can make it deeper, you can make it slightly higher, so you can bump the weight or make the range of motion larger, making the weight feel heavier. Adding bands, adding chains, And then there should be accessory work, obviously. Accessory work should have a focus on fixing weak points. Often for a lot of people it's going to be hamstrings. Most runners are really quad dominant. A lot of athletes are really quad dominant. So we're working on fixing that, basically. So a lot of single leg work. Bulging and split squats are great. A lot of athletes have tight hip flexors. They help with that a little bit. A lot of sled drags. Sled drags are probably one of the greatest accessories you can do, and warm up also. So an example day could be warming up with some backwards sled drags, just some light, just getting the blood pumping, not going on a slow jog, get the blood pumping other ways. And then after you're nice and warm, where you start working up to your max effort, we'll say box squat. So work up to that, you're done, hit it, maybe a heavy triple, max triple basically. And then after that, some bulk gains, split squats. Decently heavy is an accessory movement, so it doesn't have to be max out weight, but they should be quite heavy. Refer to my previous video when it comes to accessory movements. Basically go until you can't stand up anymore. And then there should be some last supplementary. This is where you can get some little bit of conditioning into. So you get more forward sled pushes, be sled, you call them sled pulls, where you have like a band, you pull the shit out of it. And talking about with your upper body basically. And then work on mobility a bunch. So that's an example day of a max effort day. Dynamic effort could be, we'll say 8 triples with so we're going to assume you have some idea of where the band tension is in this also. Go on fucking Elite FTS's website. They have band measurements. So you get you kind of somewhat know where you are. So you want 60% of your max on the bar and then another 20% in bands at the top. So about 80% of your max total weight at the top, ish, doesn't be exact. 8 triples, easy way to set it up. And then accessory work, again, should be, focusing on weaknesses. Maybe some RDLs, some hamstring curls, if you have access to reverse hyper, would be great. And then more and more sled pushes, sled drags, sled stuff's great. Farmers carries. Let's get some conditioning and some GPP stuff. Easy way to set it up. And then there should be some sprinting done throughout the period, but let's say you have a combine coming up and you have 12 weeks to prepare for it, there should be minimal sprinting in that time. Maybe once every 3 weeks-ish, just to kind of keep the feel for it. But other than that, you really don't need to be sprinting that much for something as short as a 4-yard dash. Again, assuming your technique's already good and everything. Pretty simple. If you're doing for longer distances, same setup basically. Let's say you have to do a 200-meter test for some reason, or you're a 200-meter sprinter. I would never run longer than 100 meters in your sprinting practice. Definitely do your sprinting separate from your training. I would set it up as, if you're doing 2 a days, so you're a more serious track athlete, if track is your thing, I would set it up as lift heavy in the morning and then you're sprinting at night. So lift in the morning, separate everything, don't lift and then go right to your sprinting practice. A lot of people do that, but don't do that. So yeah, I would never run anything longer than a 100-meter dash or 100-meter sprints. Even that, I think, would be pretty long for a 200-meter sprinter. If you're doing 400s, I would never go over 200 probably. Other than in, meets and stuff. Keep it pretty simple. There's no need to be doing like these long sprints. If you're a 100-meter sprinter, you have no reason to do 400-meter sprints and stuff. You have no reason to be doing 800s. Train for what you're training for. It's not that hard. If you want to be a good baseball player, don't play a shit ton of basketball. But anyway, pretty much it. It's not that complicated. There's a good podcast with the 40-meter dash on the Westside Barbell podcast. They have a good one. I think more and more in the running world, people are turning to the weight room to improve their times, which has been a big change. Also sprinters, a lot of people worry about anterior pelvic tilt, APT. Not a bad thing. There's very little science showing that it's actually dangerous for you, that you're more likely to hurt your back. It's not bad at all. It's very beneficial to sprinters as long as you extend your leg farther back, so you can be a faster sprinter if you have some anterior pelvic tilt. Not a bad thing. Don't worry about it. If you look at most world-class sprinters, look at Usain Bolt. He's got terrible pelvic tilt, but it's fine. If you're a powerlifter, you should maybe worry about it a little bit, but even then, but yeah, keep it simple. Go in the gym, work on your weaknesses, work on max effort. Everything should be worried about your hips and single leg strength. That's the stuff that matters. Don't go, You don't need to worry about your bench press so much. You should train your upper body also, but main focus should be on getting strong ass hips in the gym. So give it a try. I know it's weird for a lot of people. They get too stuck in their sport, and so they're doing hundreds. All they train is the hundreds, but that's not how you get good at running hundreds. So give it a try. Use the weight room properly if you're an athlete. Don't just go in there and dick around and expect that random lifts are going to make you better. They're not. So yeah, I'll do more of these videos. I'll plan them out a little better. I'm just kind of doing this off the cuff as I go, but I'll try to do more sports specific stuff I know about at least. I used to be a runner, used to speed skate, used to do rowing. There's stuff I have general knowledge of too, so I'll just kind of put these out from time to time. Let me know what you think. My mustache is frozen with shit. Look at that. It's fucking gross. Alright guys, have a wonderful day. Hopefully your day is as nice as it is here in Wisconsin. Look at this. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Bye guys.